watching. You are watching.
You're watching. You guys are watching.
You're watching. Soulful discussion.
Hi, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good. How did our paths just cross today? How did you and I just meet right now?
Well, I was just walking towards my car, and yeah, you were just like, "Oh, hi! Like, you want to be a part of my video?"
Absolutely.
I was like, "Yeah, sure."
Cool, and I really appreciate that.
Sure.
What did I tell you we're going to be talking about today?
We're gonna be talking about like.
Gave you 3 topics.
That you did. I don't remember.
It always happens. It's funny though because like usually people remember one of the 3 topics.
Yeah.
And it's like you like I don't remember none of them.
No,
so I told you your thoughts about feet, mental health, reflexology.
Okay, got it.
In terms of mental health, are there any topics that you're like invested in? You kind of pay attention to?
I love mental health and like kind of like giving each other like tips to better navigate life, and I feel like it's really important to focus on it. So just the whole idea of mental health is like really important to me.
Got it.
I don't really think there's any one specific portion.
Topic or anything.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna be talking a little bit about like how anxiety like impacts us, social media, how that's kind of like entrenched in there a little bit, and I'd like to get your thoughts when we start talking about it. Okay.
Yeah.
What about reflexology?
I don't know much about reflexology at all.
We'll go a little bit more in depth, and I'll get your thoughts about it. Okay.
All right. Cool.
Let's get into the questions. What are your thoughts on how the world has become more aware of mental health, like, and what we're trying to do about it?
I think it's mainly a positive thing. I think the conversations around mental health have like been opening up a lot more, and I feel like that's really important. And definitely, like social media has helped in that. But I do think it's introduced like more like toxic positivity in a way, like kind of like made it too overexposed to the point where like we feel comfortable like self-diagnosing or diagnosing other people or like like stuff like that. But I think it's a mostly good thing, but it has its caveats.
Okay, like everything in life.
Exactly.
All right. What are your thoughts about social media and how do you use social media?
Okay, my thoughts about social media is definitely one of those like double-edged sword things. Like I feel like it's a very useful thing and tool when it comes to like bringing worlds together, communicating, and in a way even bringing change that's needed to the world, and like just having those type of conversations is really good. But I do think that social media can be like an energy vampire, I guess. Like it can like take a lot of like your time, and depending on how you use it, it's not really a beneficial thing. You can like start to look at yourself and compare yourself more
to other people. Exactly.
But I do think like my personal relationship with social media, I feel like I've always seen it as like a tool to kind of like communicate, but also like advocate for myself, and like I don't know, I guess have like a physical diary or memory of like
something you can look back on.
Basically of like where I've gone and like what I'm doing in life. And I currently use it for like more business purposes, so that's also like a different type of social media. But
okay, what is something that you would change about it? Like if you could change anything about it, what would you change?
That's hard. If I could change anything about social media, damn, I guess I would say maybe because I feel like some of the negative parts of it is, like I said, like the comparison aspect.
Also, to your point, I think that I like one thing that you said which was that social media is like a tool. Like it's all about how you use it, right?
Yes.
If you use it incorrectly, then of course it's bad. But if you use it for the right things, like you said for yourself, as more of a diary for like things that you've done, where you've gone, to promote your business, things like that. Like, those are some positives, right?
For sure.
Yeah, but what are some of the negatives? Like, I can give you some examples.
Okay, that would probably help.
Yeah, so one lady I interviewed said that she would change the filter aspect, right? To like add like almost like a warning for like for the youth who like go on there, like somebody who's using a filter, like this is actually a filter. It's not, it's not real. Like, so that because a lot of people are like coming up with image like issues, like because they look at that and they're like, oh well, I don't equal up to that, so I'm not good looking or whatever like that. So she mentioned that, and then somebody else who I just interviewed said that, to her point, was actually pretty cool. She said I don't know if I'd change anything because I feel like maybe if you did change something, maybe it makes it worse. And I was like,
that's a good way to see
I didn't
it.
think. Yeah, I was like, I didn't think about it like that. I was like, okay, cool. Like that's a good one. So what do you think?
I think like. Because my mind, it was automatically going to something to help change the comparison aspect of things. So, like,
Absolutely.
the first woman
Yeah.
person you mentioned,
Yeah.
I feel like I wouldn't necessarily change the feature of, like, oh, like, this is a filter. Because I do think we are able to see that. But I think more, like, I guess, like, having more conversations or, like, kind of, like, providing just space for people to talk more about the side of social media, like feel more comfortable to talk about the side of social media where it's kind of like wanting to change yourselves to become something that's unrealistic. Like I feel like it's more like a conversation starter. Like that's something that I would change. Like have more vulnerable conversations around the effects of social media, because I think we see it more in like a statistical way. Like we're on our phones 7 hours a day or something. Like I don't know. I feel like we're kind of scraping the surface of the actual mental health effects of it. So I would say more vulnerability on social media. That's what I would say.
Cool. What are your are you aware of women who have like turned modeling their feet into a business? Like, have you heard of that?
I have.
What are your thoughts about that?
I guess it's fine. Like, I guess if it's like what you're into, what you like to do, live your best
you have
life.
A market?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's another positive thing of social media.
Yeah.
It opens up opportunities and avenues to like make money and to kind of like live a life you maybe didn't know how you would be able to live. And I guess people selling feet pictures is a way to do so. So I feel like it's pretty cool. Whatever you like to do it.
Cool. What are some things that bring you anxiety? You don't have to go too deep, but just like general.
Things that bring me anxiety. I would definitely say like, how would I say it? I guess going into like environments that I'm unfamiliar with. It's like something where, but I like to do it. It's weird. It's like
so at first, initially, you may feel the anxiety, but you're like, let me go. Anyway.
Basically. I guess I feel like I get a lot of anxiety around like new environments or like meeting new people or thinking about how I'm being perceived by others. Those kind of things give me a lot of anxiety. But I guess I'm fine with it. I have to be. It's a part of living.
Yeah, how do you overcome it? Like, it's like when you experience those moments where it's like, hey, I feel like that I'm anxious about this. What are some steps you take to like move past it?
Some steps I take is letting myself feel the anxiety, feel the emotion of it, and then afterwards kind of like, I guess like talking to myself in a way of like, hey, like, okay, so you feel this way, and that's okay, but know that like you're safe, like you're fine, everything's okay, you can navigate the world as yourself, and that's okay. Like kind of like talking with myself through the anxiety, basically.
Got it. Let's get into these questions now. Like to see what you think. How do you feel about your feet? What are your thoughts?
My feet.
You like them? You don't like them? You're indifferent?
I think I spent a lot of my life not necessarily liking my feet. Because I think my mom used to like make fun of my feet. But
so you have negative experiences with it.
Right. But I do think they're very important. Like aspects of the body, because they like carry you at wherever you need to go. If you're a walking able-bodied person, they're essential to navigating the world. True. So I think that they're important and should be appreciated more.
Okay, cool. Have you ever received any compliments on your feet before?
No, I don't think so.
All right.
I don't like to show them, so I don't know.
Now, why not? Is it because of your mom, maybe the fun of you, maybe you have some insecurities like built up about that?
I think that's definitely a part, but also I just really like sneakers, so I don't know. You don't really get to show your feet a lot.
No, not in sneakers. Okay. Yeah. How would you feel if you did receive a compliment? Let's say you were walking, rare occasion, you're in sandals, a man that complimented you about that. How would you feel about it?
A little uncomfortable, but also like, okay, thanks. I mean, it's a compliment. I wouldn't have thought my feet were cute, but okay. Thanks. You know,
but that could be a positive though, right? To maybe like counteract like the negative like experience that you've had with it, right?
Very true.
What are your thoughts about if a woman compliments you about the same thing?
I guess receive it more positively,
Mm-hmm.
like kind of be like, oh, like, okay, thanks. I don't know.
Okay. I get that a lot. Don't worry, it's okay.
Oh no, I don't mind.
Yeah. What are some things you do like to be complimented about? Like if you're gonna get a compliment.
How I smell, how I dress, and my hair.
I think the first one that you said is probably like an underrated one that I don't think a lot of people like. It's like when people say that you smell nice.
That's like the best thing ever.
That's a big one because like I mean hygiene is like so important. So it's like if somebody says that means like okay, I'm on the right track. I'm doing something right.
Right.
So
right.
I like that. That's a good one. I've had a couple compliments in terms of like women who have complimented me about that, and I was like always in that moment like.
Thank you, man.
Okay.
Right.
Right.
I will keep this.
Exactly. Let me keep this going.
Routine.
Yeah. In your opinion, what
Uh-huh.
is the appropriate way for a man to like approach a woman? Like you guys are both strangers. He's approaching you. What's the appropriate way to do that?
Okay. I guess an appropriate way, if you're wanting to romantically talk to a woman,
Mhm.
I'm assuming that's what you're saying.
I'm saying either way. It could just be
Like an approach.
maybe to
in
start a
general.
conversation or something like that. Yeah.
Okay. I guess in a general sense, I would say, I don't know, kind of like, I say always like when you're approaching anyone as anyone, you should always like come in knowing like what you, like your intentions or what you feel about that person, like what's making you want to talk to them. Like be aware of that in yourself. And I say like kind of like approaching women with the perception that they're just humans, like other people that you're connecting with, and you want to see what that connection feels like or means. Yeah. So I say kind of like be a little like be innocent about it and just like lighthearted and just approach people like, hey, how are you? Like I don't know.
and I think I asked that question kind of connected to the compliment side because I feel like sometimes like men can approach women and they don't realize like you guys deal with a lot of things like in terms of like just the safety issues, things like that that you got. And sometimes guys we don't have to deal with that same thing. So
you don't think about it.
Yeah, exactly. So sometimes you don't think about it. You're just approaching it and it's like it can throw a woman. Like I experience that sometimes when I'm like going out and doing these interviews and I'm approaching and like sometimes some women like may see me as like intimidating because I'm a little bit taller or whatever it may be. So I try to always make sure that with my voice, like at least like that sounds like I'm coming in like it's not something that's like aggressive or anything like that. So yeah,
genuinity.
So that's why I asked it to get everybody's like what are your thoughts about like what's a good way to do it?
Approach them. Exactly. Yeah, I like that.
All right. Hold on, let me pull back up my questions.
No, you're good.
They went around. What's something that you would consider to be a deal breaker in a potential partner?
Ooh, okay. A deal breaker.
It's like, how long do you have?
I'm good. I have nowhere to be, so I'm just chilling. A deal breaker. Damn. Okay. I would definitely say, if you give me any red flags that you're a manipulative person,
okay,
I don't want to talk to you.
That's a good one.
You know, if I feel like I'm expressing something to you and you want to like change my perception of things, like that kind of stuff, I don't really like. Or like, I guess like a lack of humor or adventure. Yeah, that's what
a big one. I think humor. I mean, unless you're a very serious person, then maybe humor's not that important to you.
Yeah.
I feel like for the most part, you need to be able to laugh at somebody.
But even like serious people, like maybe they like a different type of humor, like a witty humor.
True, but I've met people who are like, I'm sorry, like no, there's like no humor there, like no moments, like they don't want to laugh, they don't like you could do everything that you want, and it's like, nah, I want to be in this moment right here. So okay.
Wow, right. I have yet to come across.
I've experienced that. Yeah, absolutely.
That's crazy.
How often do you get pedicures?
Not often at all. Like maybe like once a year.
Okay, is it more now? Is this because of more because you don't see it as like a necessity and you're just kind of like, I'm good, or do you kind of like do your own nails, your own self care? Or
I do my own self care for sure. But I also like, I feel like when it comes to like maintenance, I like to be a little bit more low maintenance, especially when it comes to like paying for services and stuff like that. So yeah. Okay,
cool. Do you have any favorite colors that you like to get when you do go, or when you paint your own nails or anything?
I usually do like clear or like a red, like that kind of vibe.
Got
Yeah.
it. Have you ever heard of a medical pedicure before?
No. What's that?
So medical pedicure is when you go see a podiatrist, right? It's a specialist of the foot. They'll take a look at your nails and they'll like make sure the nails grow correctly, because a lot of people don't know. You go to nail salons, sometimes they don't cut them correctly. You end up with ingrown toenails,
right?
Things like that. So they look at your nails, make sure they grow correctly. They look at your toe alignment. They make sure you don't have dead skin, no fungus.
Right.
They do all the work there with medical grade equipment. What are your thoughts on somebody like going to see somebody like that?
First, how much does it cost?
It's like, this sounds interesting.
But yeah, no, it does sound interesting. But I do think initially of like the cost of that and accessibility, like where are there frequent podiatrists?
Yeah, you can go look up podiatrists.
Podiatrists, okay.
Yeah, you can go look it up and like you'll literally give you like a listing of like different places that offer it. Yeah.
Got you. Yeah. I mean, it sounds cool.
Yeah.
But
I'm saying, would that be something that you would go to as opposed to like going to a cosmetic pedicure? Because you said you don't really go get cosmetic ones, so like.
And it's kind of just like a procedure where you're focusing mainly on like the care of the foot rather than like.
So yeah, so like, and here's what usually podiatrists like tend to experience. Like people wait till later in life to come see them, and it's like when they have a lot of problems, right? So it's like, for example, people who are like diabetic or people who have like different problems with their like skin or stuff like that, they come later in life, and then it's like little they can do. So they actually have like procedures you can look at on like YouTube where they show like podiatrists doing the work. And like some people who have like the bottom of their foot is like so hard, and they have to like do these different procedures to like get all that hard skin off. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I would prefer to go to them then.
Yeah,
because I feel like it's more. First of all, I feel like they're more trained in like what the foot needs as far as care, and secondly, like, I don't know, it's a little more important than like a paint like on your toenail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like, because eventually the paint will run off, but like, you know, and it'll run its course, but like getting some of that work done can last you like a long time. They can give you some tips of like self-care and things like that. So absolutely. Next question: how often do you wear open-toe shoes, sandals, football? You said you like sneakers.
Yeah.
So how often? Like, give me like a percentage. Throw a percentage out there.
Maybe like 2% of the time.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't even think I think I own 2 pairs of open-toe shoes.
Wow.
And it's like a Teva, like. So
even during the summer.
Yeah.
You prefer sneakers.
Sneakers and boots all year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right. How often do you go barefoot, like no shoes?
Ooh, a lot of times at home, of course.
Okay.
Or
beach,
if I'm like at the beach, of
parks.
course. Yeah, like, well, not really parks.
Second person I've heard say this.
Yeah.
Somebody said, I don't trust parks. Like, I don't know what's on the ground.
No.
Okay. All right.
Also, a lot of parks I go to have like not grass.
So okay. Artificial grass.
More like wood chips or like.
Oh yeah, no.
Like
no.
concrete, like, you know, like if I'm barefoot, I would like to be on like sand or grass. Or
I feel it.
So,
I feel it. Absolutely.
Yeah. Which, I would prefer more than actual open-toed shoes.
So, have you ever heard of earthing and grounding?
I believe I have. I think I understand the concept, but.
Yeah, it's basically going barefoot, like being in grass, rooting yourself in grass or dirt, sand.
Right.
And it's supposed to like allow you to feel like the most at one with like earth and like gives you more of a natural like feel. Thoughts about that? Like, would you ever try it?
Hell yeah. That's why I say like I would only really want to be like, if I'm barefoot, I would like to be on like grass or sand.
Absolutely.
I feel like that I don't know, I feel like I said before, like our feet are some of the most important like body parts.
Overlooked.
Very overlooked as well. But I feel like when that concept I think is true, and I think like if your body is connecting directly with the ground and with like earth, I do think there's like positive effects to that with yourself and your spirit, stuff like that. So I think it's a cool thing, a good thing. We should all do it.
Absolutely. Okay. Now, can we see what your feet look like up close?
No.
Okay, why not? All right, let's get into this.
Because
I'll challenge you.
I just don't feel like taking off my shoes really, and no.
Tell me. So now I feel like there's some more there.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not just the shoes.
It's
what
like,
else is it?
the shoes, but also like I don't feel like comfortable, and it's like kind of like
because you
I
just
didn't
met
really
me,
come
you
out.
don't know
It's like one of those things.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let me talk to you about like the mental health, and then I'm gonna come back around and see how we feel about the subject. It might not change, but who knows? But during quarantine, I was like actually watching another guy's channel, right? And I learned about the concept of DBT, and like it's been something that's like really helped me out, like in life in general. But DBT is like a mental health term, so it's dialectical behavioral therapy. It's for people who suffer from like anxiety, depression, not living in the moment, right? So what therapists prescribe for these people are like to go out and put yourselves in those situations that make you feel uncomfortable. So let's say you're somebody who like is uncomfortable talking to strangers, or like you're definitely afraid of it or whatever like that. They'll tell you go out and approach strangers, like do it over and over again. Exposure therapy, right?
Oh, yeah.
And when you're in that moment and like you're feeling uncomfortable, you're supposed to cope with it. Do a self-assessment. Ask yourself, okay, like what am I feeling here? What's the worst that's gonna happen to me? Like, is there anything that's like threatening my life or my safety? And if not, you don't find anything, you're supposed to do the opposite, because the emotions sometimes like can prevent you from experiencing good events, good moments. What are your thoughts on like DBT and using it to like overcome like different things that may be presented to you on a day-to-day basis?
I think actually, like, so is it the same thing as exposure therapy?
It is. So it's like exposure therapy is a portion of it, right? So there's more to it. So for example, like for me, like in the past, like I haven't dealt well with rejection, right? So not that I get upset with rejection or anything like that, but just that like it makes me feel like I get caught in my feels when I would get rejected, right? So like hearing no, like would like send me all the way over into like another frame of thought. Whereas like my brother was the complete opposite. Like he could be told no by a woman he thought was attractive, and like there's no thought process after she says no, he just moves on to the next one, right? So like going out and doing this, like sometimes I hear no like 50, 100 times maybe, and like to keep going out and keep doing it, because like yes is right around the corner, but like I have to keep my energy up. I have to like continue to be positive. Like otherwise, if I decide to pack it in after I hear one no, you never know what could be, right?
Right.
So,
very
absolutely.
true.
So yeah, that's what I kind of use it for. So what are your thoughts about that?
I think it's actually a really good way to like approach dealing with anxiety, kind of like how we were saying earlier. I was saying earlier of like when I am anxious, I don't allow it to like control me. I like to, if I want to go out and like talk to people and have fun, do things, I have to do it. Like, you know, I think that it's actually a really good way to kind of like deal with things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. So yeah, when I get to this,
recognizing it and then experiencing
exactly.
it.
So when I get to this portion of the interview, I'm always challenging the woman, because like you see how the interview is going, I'm asking the questions and doing all that stuff. It's nice to see if can you continue to be comfortable, or are you like, nah, I'm not, I don't feel comfortable. And like you kind of already said, like I don't feel comfortable. Don't really know you. Like you probably worried that's going on YouTube and like the perception.
That is also a thing, yeah.
So let me ask you a question. Why is that like something like, so let's say like you're out, right? You're at the beach, you got your shoes off, right? People may notice it, right?
Right.
What is the hold up where you're like, nah, but it's going on YouTube? Because those people don't know you. They don't know who you are or anything like that. So what is the, I'm trying to get to like more the depth.
Yeah. I think it's more like, I feel like the internet is a very much so weird place. Sometimes it can like have a dark spot, you know. And I feel like, like I don't know. You don't know, I guess, people's intentions through the internet. You know what I mean? So
you did see my YouTube channel though.
Yes.
So I actually have a YouTube channel.
Yes,
right?
yes.
So that's why I'm saying, like, because you did see my YouTube channel initially, you knew what it was about.
Yes.
So you know it's going on YouTube.
Yes. Very aware.
Cool. Okay, so reflexology deals with the different like pressure points you actually have in your hands and your feet. Those pressure points like correlate to like various parts of your body. So through massage, acupuncture, acupressure, you can actually like alleviate stress and tension throughout your body. So for example, if you're somebody who like suffers from like migraines, right? There's a portion of your foot and your hand that you can massage to like alleviate that tension you're feeling in that moment. If your lungs are congested with like mucus, like because you're sick, another portion that you can like massage to like alleviate that. They call them zones. It's like various zones that you have. It's like mapped out. It's almost like a map of like, if you look at the map of the world, it's kind of like the same thing with your hands and feet.
Wow.
What are your thoughts about like that as an approach, as a more holistic approach to dealing with different ailments?
I think I don't know. It sounds cool. I feel like I definitely need to be more educated on it because it sounds like something like I would be interested in.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, like these are important parts of bodies, so I can imagine them having like, you know, remedies and stuff like that.
They say some people too, like, so depending on your sensitivity, right? Your feet, your bottom of your soles have sensitivity. Some people like experience like they have no like feeling there, right? And that could be like a cause for something else. Like you could have something else that's wrong with you and you don't know it, right? So like this is why it's like kind of important to like, you know, kind of go out and do these things.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Good to know.
Cool. So let's wrap up the interview now.
Okay.
In terms of my approach coming up to you, asking you to do the interview, was it good? Was it bad? What were your thoughts about my approach?
I thought your approach was pretty genuine, friendly. I didn't feel like uncomfortable or, you know what I mean? Like, I guess intimidated or anything like that. I felt pretty chill, comfortable.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
Did something right then. There it is. In terms of the interview as a whole, could you see how everything was going on the line? Did it make sense to you? Did you learn anything new?
It did make sense. Did I learn something new? Yeah, hell yeah. I learned a lot. Like, I learned about reflexology and what are the
Medical pedicures.
Medical pedicures, yes.
Okay.
And what are the doctors called though?
Podiatrists.
There we go. Didn't know that was even a thing. So definitely learned some things for sure.
Sweet. The last thing I always ask from a mental health standpoint, a life lesson you learned, some wise words somebody once said to you that you can say to my channel?
Ooh. I think as a queer woman, I'm a big advocate for standing up for yourself and knowing who you are despite what anyone or the world could say. And I think that like facing yourself is a big part of healing. Like mental health ailments and illnesses is kind of like recognizing, I guess, like places where you have like wounds and trauma and allowing for those to exist, but also allowing for them to be the point of healing yourself. There is a point of healing, basically. That's what I would say.
Okay.
You know, especially when finding yourself and coming into yourself, you heal as you get older and grow and learn yourself. Yeah.
Got it. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Definitely appreciate you stopping.
For sure.
And we hope that you have a great one, okay?
All right, bye.
All right.